Hey, everything's going.
Who do we have in the building right now?
Who do we have? Special guy.
Super Shane.
Super Shane.
Shayan.
Shayan? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yan.
Shayan.
Shayan.
So is that spelled?
Less of the on, but like Shayan.
Shayan.
Shayan, who are you? Are you our media coordinator?
You're getting a lot of on, though. It's like Shayan.
Shayan. Shan. Did you ever get Shan? You ever gotten that before?
I think we're going. Oh, wait, no, it's more Shayan.
Shayan?
Shayan.
Have you actually gotten Shayan before?
Yeah.
That
And
pissed me off.
For the longest time, I just went with Shane. I was like, screw it.
Oh, Shane.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was like I had a name tag when I first started working. It was way easier for me to just go with Shane.
Why do you think people did that? Like, why would they just skip the A like that?
I don't know.
Shane.
And then I introduced myself as like Cheyenne for the longest time too, so that was kind of my doing.
What do you prefer?
Well, I would prefer Cheyenne, but I think it's hard for people to say.
Cheyenne, really?
How about Shaya?
Shy is hype.
Shaya?
Is Cheyenne a girl's name and a boy's name to you?
Well, to me, like based on my background, it was a boy's name, but here it's a girl's name. So I guess it's like mix and match here. But
What's your
what
background?
about Shaya? You like Shaya?
Shia? I think it's cool. I think it sounds like a dog's name though.
Yeah, I prefer Shayan.
Cheyenne?
So you can say it.
Yeah, we could say it. We're brown.
I'm out of time.
You know what though? I find. Do you guys get mad when someone mispronounces your name?
I get a lot of Ahmed.
Yeah.
You get Ahmed?
Yeah. Because it's so close to Ahmed, right? Or
Yeah.
Ahmed.
Does that bother you? Or you're okay with that?
No, like first time, a lot of people get it wrong the first time.
Yeah.
But then when I correct you and then you still say it, that's when I'm like, okay.
I ain't
Sure.
repeating myself.
I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm not going to correct you. I'll let you just say it.
You know what? There's a few people who've done that, and I've witnessed it. It's hilarious. It's really nice to see.
I bet most people get Kenny though.
Oh, Kenny's easy.
Kenny's easy.
Kenny's very easy. Like when I'm on the phone and someone asks me how I spell my name, and I'm like, Kenny, Kenny, and they're like, is that an A you're saying, sir? I'm like, no, it's Kenny, right? Like, how can you get that wrong?
I'm very jealous.
But you know what I've been thinking lately, as you step into adulthood, is Ken.
Ken. Yeah, Ken sounds old, man.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Like,
You
I
just
don't-
added at least
I
20
can't
years.
see Ken.
I want to see how you guys would react. I stayed
Yeah,
very
no,
level-headed there just to see how you
Ken-
guys react. It's
Ken
just
sounds
not me. It
Ken-
doesn't match my
I'm not
personality.
gonna lie. Shout out to all the Kens there, but Ken just sounds gross on you, man.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't like Kenny sounds.
Fly. Yeah.
I agree.
Kenny
the way.
Kenny sounds right to you, like your personality and everything.
That made my day. Thanks, brother.
It's little things, you know.
You know what, though? I've gotten Kennedy, like Karam calls me that, to piss me off. That you can't do. Right? It doesn't get anything longer than Kenny. That's it. It ends right there. You ever had someone do that to you where, okay, Ahmed is one thing,
Yeah.
Cheyenne is another, right? You could brush that off. But have you ever gotten a name where you're like, don't ever call me that again?
I don't think so. I think people just butcher my name left and right. So I think, but no, it doesn't get longer than that.
Why should we have names? Like, do you think we should have names?
I mean, what else are they gonna call you?
What if they called you a number? Like, what if you were like, hey, 7146, come here.
That would make you feel real special. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was just another number.
Could you imagine? It'd be brutal.
If you had to be, what number would you be though? If you had to pick.
Oh, 7. I like 7 for some reason. Just growing up as a kid, I've always liked it.
That'd be 8 or 24.
I feel like you'd have a lot of competition out there. 8 or 20?
8 or 24. Kobe's numbers, man.
Oh, respect.
Ooh.
Respect.
I respect that. Would you get it tattooed?
No.
Do you have any tattoos?
No,
Do you have any tattoos?
I do.
What do you have?
you don't.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I just don't tell anybody.
What?
Well, let's talk about it now.
Well, I guess the second floor.
Okay, I've got elephant ears.
Oh, okay.
Where are they?
No one needs to know that. Just kidding. That's a rip off Russell Peters. I'm not gonna continue off of that.
But do you have tattoos?
No, but I've been thinking about getting them.
Where would you
Actually,
get it?
I've been strongly thinking. I don't know, man. Like, I just want to get. I want to get something closely resembling a sleeve. But I'm scared that I would get it, and then I'd like it for 3-4 years, and then after I'd be like, nah, it's not me anymore. Kind of like the phone wallpaper thing, right? I would have the longest phone wallpaper for probably a year max,
Yeah.
Till I'm like, I gotta get rid of this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how I'd feel about that on something tattooed to my skin, you know?
Would you get one on your foot? I know a lot of martial arts people get tattoos on their feet.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I mean, like, if there's any spot, I've just always thought about it being on my arm. Because I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, go through zzz, ah, zzz, to something I don't see every day, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man.
So what are we doing here, boys?
This place is sick, by the way. Sorry, just this is a really nice setup.
Thank you.
You guys can't even see the other half that I'm looking at right now, but this is just.
Yeah, my favorite thing was your reaction when you walked in here. It's always the best.
Yeah.
I love people's reactions. I like feed off of that.
Yeah.
Like I would know that that's not like I know you're being genuine because of just seeing how excited you got when you walked in.
Yeah,
It's collage.
100%. It's just the setting here, the atmosphere, right?
No, that's awesome, man.
It's very cozy and it's very like, I don't know.
I want to sleep here. I haven't slept in here yet. You know what was the one thing that really bothered me? I brought this rug, right? Like this rug I brought here. And I was
This
so
one?
excited, bro. I was so excited to show Omid. I was so excited. I just want to surprise him, right? This is a rug that Guggen and I got. You know, we got it for our condo when we were living there. And then when I came back, I just placed it here. And then Omid comes storming into that door. And he's like, all right, yeah, he's setting everything up. He's doing his thing. He's killing it. He's like, all right, guys, I'm ready to shoot. I'm like, Omid, you notice anything different? And Omid's like, no, man. Like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, look, bro. Like, look down. No one can see it. That's the thing. No one can see. But this rug is just so colorful, right?
Yeah.
And bro, it just broke my heart a little
I'm
bit.
sorry, man. It just that
Sounds like he's not over it yet.
no. Yeah.
Bro, it's a magic carpet. Like, this is some shit.
It is
I
a nice
gotta
carpet.
laugh.
Like now that you've pointed it out, I just didn't. You know, I come in here and I set up. I don't look.
You're too busy, bro. You're not on the level. You're on the second floor. You're
I'm
too
on the
busy
second
looking.
floor.
Too busy looking up.
You're not looking at the ground.
Dude, yeah, I
bro.
can't. There ain't no ground level no more. No.
That's a joke. Do you think that takes luck or does that take preparation?
Ooh. Getting
That's a good segue.
right into
I like
the topic.
was
I like
good.
that.
I love segues.
That was
I
good.
love that. So, luck or preparation?
Yeah, what does
About
it take?
what?
I don't know. You tell me. You float with that. However way you like it.
That's an interesting conversation.
I think it's talking about if we're talking about success or we're talking about getting to where you want to be, whatever that looks like. I think it's more preparation and then luck follows. I think you do become lucky the harder you work. You know, I feel like even with this podcast, right? We put in so many hours behind the scenes and so happens we get a sponsor, so happens we get people that are interested, so happens domino effects start to happen. The right people start to show up, right? I feel like that's kind of luck, but it was also kind of how much effort and preparation we put in.
What do you think the percentage is?
And probably
Some
like,
people say 50-50. I'm not a believer 50-50. I don't know. Do you think it's 50-50?
you're 50-50?
No, I don't think that's the case.
Oh, no, I don't think it's 50-50. I think it's more prep
Yeah.
and luck. I don't know the percentage. Probably 80 prep, 20. I would say 80-20 or 90-10.
I was going to say 70-30.
Yeah.
I feel like luck doesn't happen without prep. Kind of like just summarizing what Omid said.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm around that range too. I think like, yeah, you create your opportunities, right? That's what creates your luck, right? Based on the decisions you make. A lot of people have, if we're talking about just luck as in like you run into the right person at the right time and then they just open up a door for you that, you know, you weren't thinking about before. But if you're making the decisions to put yourself in that position, then is it luck or is it just seizing the opportunity, right? There's a lot of people out there who have the opportunity and decide not to go that route. Or make a decision that, you know, doesn't end up good for them or it doesn't end up in the way they want to proceed, right?
You know what fascinates me? In my life, I've seen a lot of people who've been blessed with gifts.
Yeah.
Talented people. Yeah, just like, for example, basketball. I remember this one guy, his name is Kevin Blair. I don't know if he's watching this, but if he is, I'm bringing him up. In high school, he tore everyone up. He was scoring, averaging 25, 30 a game. He was dunking on kids. Like, this guy in high school, so naturally gifted, never worked hard at all. The coaches were always on him about like, yo, like he was always late to practice. He didn't care. He never cared about basketball ever. But this man, if he put in the work, he could have been. He could have played professional now. Just an absolute monster of an athlete. And I look at that, and I'm not saying that. Yeah, sure, he didn't take that route. But I look at that and I'm like, man, like a lot of people are blessed in certain areas, but they don't see that opportunity or they don't follow that. Like you said, they don't take that opportunity and take it to that level.
Like lucky, you mean in the sense of like natural talent.
Yeah. Naturally gifted athlete, naturally, a lot of people are naturally gifted singing. Like they have such an amazing voice. Do they become a full-time singer? No, not all of them, right? Or they're naturally gifted, they're tall. Do they all go to the NBA? Not really. But there's like natural gifts, I'm saying, that a lot of people don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of people that are smaller that would love to, they work their ass off. They're in the gym 24/7, but they'll never make the NBA.
Yeah, that's a dangerous territory to be in. I 100% agree. You see such, to your point, naturally gifted talent people have, and they don't want to run with it because they feel like it's already there. It's kind of like when you ask yourself, what are my strengths? And you're like, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, so I don't need to worry about it anymore. But are you sure about that? Don't you think you should maybe
double down?
Yeah, 10x what you're already good at. What if you were amazing at it? What if you were God-givenly created to do that one thing? Right now you're thinking of, I already beat everyone up on the school block. I already win every game in the schoolyard. Okay, well, what about in your province? What about in your country?
Yeah.
What about in the world? Right? In terms of who you need to now compete against.
Yeah.
That's when it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Someone like that, 100%. I don't know, I'll bring it back to you guys instead of sharing my opinion on it first. Do you guys think someone like that, just they need that mentor, they need that encouragement, or can they do it within themselves?
I think it all depends on that person, right? I guess it depends how they've kind of built themselves up until that point, right?
I think you see, everyone sees opportunity. There's certain things that people see that are opportunities, right? But then there's other people that don't see those same opportunities, right? Right? I saw the opportunity in him, and I'm like, man, this guy could play in the NBA. He didn't see that. Right? He didn't see the staircase.
Do you think you have
to
to
that.
be taught to be able to see that?
I don't think it's that. I think it's just passion, right? Whatever your passion. He wasn't passionate about basketball the way I was.
It's the drive,
right? It was the drive, right?
Yeah.
If when you're passionate and you love something, you will see the staircase. You will see the ladder.
Yeah, you don't need anybody.
You don't need anybody.
You
don't need to.
fair.
He. I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he knew how good he was, but he just didn't want to look at that staircase. Right? It's the opportunity is there, but you don't look at it because you don't want to.
Yeah.
So you choose not to. But again, that's with a lot of people, right? We saw an opportunity here to sit down and create a podcast. A lot of people don't see it. A lot of people will look at it's too competitive. How many podcasts and somebody's mother's podcast? You know what I mean? So many podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it's too competitive. And then opportunities close.
Yeah.
You closed it on yourself.
Yeah.
But we saw an opportunity and we see the staircase. A lot of people don't.
Yeah. No, that's so true. It's kind of like what you and I talked about, where the other night we were saying, do we need to reinvent the wheel, or do we, you were saying this, or do we kind of keep building something that already exists?
Yeah.
And I find in a lot of ways we kind of get hesitant, right? I think a lot of people get really hesitant to be like, oh, but the 10,000 people are already doing it. But then I feel like we lack, again, the ability of okay, well, what about us? What's a special ingredient I'm putting into it to make it different from everyone else? What makes me different to make it feel special, right? That's what makes me keep going. I could think all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's never going to work because, 10,000 other people are doing it. But then when you think on a more micro lens of, okay, let's think Edmonton. Let's think a little bit more narrow and realize that we're the first adopters in the city in this space. Yeah, sure enough, if we go move elsewhere, there's going to be more competition. But when and if that happens, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like even Kobe touches on this a lot. He says, a lot of people ask him how he was able to surpass his peers. And he says all it took was me waking up at 4:00 in the morning, getting that extra workout in. So he kind of breaks it down. He's like, okay, you want to be the best basketball player in the world, or you want to be the best basketball player you can be. Well, the only way to do that is to train and train as often as you can. So if you wake up at 9, you go to the gym at 10, you train from 10 to 12, you recover, and you go back to the gym from 2 to 4. Then you go back and you train from 6 to 8. That's 3 workouts, right? Now let's say you wake up at 4. You get at the gym at 5. From 5 to 7 you train. You go back, you eat, you recover, get back in the gym at 8. From 8 to 10 you train, go back home, you rest, you recover, then get back to the gym from 12 to, and now you've taken, it's this exact same thing, exact same training, exact same methodology, you're just adding another workout in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you compound that over a year, 2 years, 5 years, now all of a sudden the gap between you and your peers.
It's true.
So it's the same concept of like, okay, we want to be the best podcasters we can be. We want to be the best, whatever we want to do. I feel like it's that extra workout. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's 365 more workouts in the year that you would have done last year.
Exactly.
Right?
You touched on something there, like talk about routine. Do you have a daily routine? Something you do on a repetitive basis every day?
It used to be chaotic, but I'm starting to get back into it. But yeah. I'm always either shooting something or editing something every day. That was my routine the last 2.5 years for myself, whether that's shooting a video for myself or shooting it for a client or editing the video or making a song, writing something creatively that I can do every single day. That was always my number one thing. No matter how busy I got, I have to sit down for at least an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours and make sure that I get that in. So that was always my one thing from daily routine. And then everything kind of, things started to grow on certain branches, then all of a sudden my fitness kind of dropped and things that I was supposed to be doing that I had a routine in, it kind of got chaotic. But I am always trying to do something creative for whatever lane that I'm trying to build every single day.
Like for you, like writing, right? Writing music and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you find that when we're talking about like routines, do you find it has to be done a certain time of the day? Like, do you have to like almost make a priority, like the first thing you do, or does it matter even if it's the last thing you do end of the day? Or
with music, it's a little like it can be anytime. With writing, in terms of like script writing of videos, that has to be done very early, so early in the morning. The same thing with working out. For me, I cannot. I can work out in the evenings, but then I lose track of my schedule. I have to do it before the chaos of the day.
Yeah.
I have to be in the gym because then I won't get in there. I won't have a proper routine. When I had a proper routine, I was in the gym every single morning, bro. Cardio or weights or something like
That's
that.
That's the best.
Yeah.
I love like starting my day with some sort of physical exercise.
What's your daily routine like?
Yeah, like
what do you do on a daily?
Like from the time I get up, it's just shower and get ready, eat breakfast, and I haven't actually done like morning workouts. I used to do like two training sessions. So morning would be like some sort of cardio, something light.
Yeah.
And I found when I did that, actually, it was like the biggest improvement in terms of like being productive throughout the day. Like, it's just something about getting up and just
you feel awake.
Yeah, and like you're asleep. You almost like get to the gym, you're still like half asleep, but once you get moving, the blood is pumping. It's just and then your day is started, and you already feel productive, and you already feel like you accomplished something, and it just kind of really sets you up nice for the rest of the day. So that's I haven't done that in a while, but I try and do that whenever I can.
Yeah. Would you say your anchor is
absolutely
fitness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If all else fails, like just the working out and just being in the zone just for like an hour or two, whatever it is, just like everything's blocked out. It's like therapy.
Mm.
Yeah, it really is, right?
It's like, is that like that for you with like jiu-jitsu and like your
100%, man. I get aggravated when I don't sweat every day. Sweating to me is training. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's when I say sweat, go do your jiu-jitsu workout. Okay, go to the gym. Maybe hey, it was a 12-hour workday. Well, did you mentally sweat?
Yeah.
You know, did you feel like you pushed yourself to a limit where you're gonna confidently go home and sleep at night and knew that was one day, you know, that one little token, that's your one little coin of the day that you're gonna take into the next day. That's gonna make that last day count, right? For me, I kind of like what both you guys were saying because it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that both of you don't necessarily have like a rudimentary routine where every single day looks the same.
Like for me, like training is like set.
That's like the one variable.
Yeah,
that's
like
constant.
I used
right.
yeah,
And there's always that one variable.
yeah, that I kind of like something has to be fixed from day to day to day. Just like that's the anchor, right? Everything else can be shuffled around, but it's just, and that's like I think training for me. Like I train at lunchtime now. I used to train after work, but I felt like just given my work, it was just my brain was fried. By the time I went in there, mentally it was just. My focus wasn't there, my attention wasn't there, so I try and squeeze it in lunchtime now. So nice. I try and like build my day around that to at least be able to get a training session in.
See, and that's perfect. I love how you worded it that way, Cheyenne, because that goes back to the frame. Cheyenne. Okay, now we're gonna change it. Go back to that. Eh?
Yeah, we'll edit this out. Yeah.
Super Cheyenne. It's literally, man, the concept of. No matter what you're doing, and I speak heavily about this because I don't have a daily routine. I'll be very honest. I kind of I live like and flourish in the mindset of every day looking different than the last. Yeah. Except to your guys' point, there's one thing that never changes,
what's that?
And I love that. That's the training aspect.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. Did I learn something from that day? Did I sweat mentally or did I sweat physically? Because at the end of the day, there has to be that one thing that you're still doing that you're pushing forward.
Yeah.
Right? And I think if people are having a very tough time trying to figure that out, then that's okay still. Yeah. I think you got to do a little soul searching before you realize there's going to be that one thing that you're not going to stop doing.
Yeah, I think there was one. I was talking to Kevin about this, and we talked yesterday. We were at the cafe and we were chatting, and there's one thing that we brought up was this whole thing of experimenting. Like there's a lot of I have time to experiment. I have time to, try different things. And that is true. I think you need to give yourself time to experiment. And I feel like you need to give yourself time to look at things that you love. But there comes a point in time where I feel like you just have to stick to one thing. And that is your thing.
Yeah.
Right. And
like in terms of career path, you mean? Like
career path. Yeah. I feel like, a lot of us as trends come and go, TikTok's on the rise and, podcasts are on the rise.
Are you on TikTok? Are you guys on TikTok?
No. I'm on TikTok, but I haven't released it.
Does this suck you in like people say it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. It is. It's very addictive. It's organic, right? So when you make something and it gets like a couple thousand views, then you're like, oh shit. Like I want to make more, right? Yeah. Like it gives you that hit. Yeah. But I just feel like a lot of people experiment too much. At a certain point, you just kind of have to look at yourself or look at what you're doing and kind of narrow it down. And because years will go on and you will be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Yeah. You know what I mean? You won't be able to actually see, because one thing I've realized, and especially with this video stuff, I've done video since 2007, 2008, right? I've done it for almost 10 years, like trial, error, testing, trying cameras, doing it. This isn't my first year. But I've gone more fully into it the last couple of years, right? Fully immersed into my craft. But the one thing I'll tell you is the growth is a lot more fulfilling now.
Yeah.
Right? Than the times when I was experimenting. The times I was experimenting, it was fun because you were learning. But the growth now, after polishing is a lot more fulfilling. So I feel like a lot of people don't get to that point because they try. When you try something new, for example, you try something new, it's tough, it's hard, hours. Learning curve, whatever, right? If you can get over that and learn to be even decent at whatever you're trying, you'll start to feel good, right? Your confidence will go up, and then that point becomes a lot more fulfilling.
Yeah, it becomes easier, right? You wouldn't be able to bang out a 10-second beautiful visual commercial in let's say a couple hours if you had not done that already for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Something that would have taken you 4 hours to do, now it takes you 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? But again, that's because of the time and energy you spent doing it. I relate to that so much because the one thing, no matter what, I would say the one thing I disagree on is the whole like jack of all trades thing, because I know I've tried a lot of things, but I've always told myself that, okay, I want to try a lot of things as long as, again, there's that one thing. Yeah. For Omid, it was video. For me, it was martial arts.
Yeah.
As long as every day or every week I'm going and I'm training and I'm putting my body and mind to the test in a martial arts capacity, then I'm happy. Because, again, that's what keeps me sane. But the cool thing is, what I relate to that is, I remember when I first started teaching kickboxing, and it went from legitimately women's kickboxing to then beginner striking to advanced striking for an adult class, to getting people primed to compete. But I remember all along the way in those first couple of years, I wrote down everything prior to the class. Like, I'd be sitting there and be like, okay, like, I gotta think of the combinations we're gonna do. Okay, what warm-up do I want these guys to do? Okay, what sparring strategies are we gonna do? And at one point, I just stopped writing. I was just legitimately in the car, driving, on the way to the drive. I was like, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do, this warm-up, done, we'll go. And it was kind of neat to now reflect on that and be like, you work so hard at preparing this curriculum, essentially, where now you've done it long enough where you don't even need to prepare on the level you did before, because it's all up here in your head.
Yeah.
Have you ever had something like that with anything you've prepared for? Kind of goes back to our prepare over luck thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, that's the same thing with like fitness, right? Like, that's
you didn't look this jacked all your life, brother.
Oh, please. So like, it comes to a point where you just like you kind of build the discipline. You kind of build yourself to the point where you're not struggling to go to the gym anymore. Now it becomes actually being at the gym and what are you doing with your time. I think that's another thing too, right? Like, you spend less time trying to, like, when anyone starts off, right, trying to get healthy or whatever, first going to the gym and trying to spend time there, and the first little while it can be tough, right? Especially because it's overwhelming, because you go in there, especially if you're doing this for the first time, right? You don't know where to start, you know how long to do it for, like, fitness in general can be such an overwhelming thing for people, and I see that, right? People go, what should be my training volume? What intensity? What time of the day should I work out? How often should I work out? What's your nutrition based on like limitation preferences? What supplements should I take? What should I not take? And it's like super overwhelming right off the bat, right? And I think the first step has to be easy. I tell people all the time, it's like, just go to the gym. Like, if you can't be on the treadmill, or even if you can't have a workout, go for like 15, 20 minutes. Just like stretch. Just stretch. Be in the environment. Be in the zone. Be in that atmosphere, right? A lot of times people start off and they go, yeah, I'm going to train everything every day for 5 days. And then after 5 days, it's like, oh, like it just registers as like a negative experience or like a hard thing. And then that's it.
It's like a chain smoker going in and be like, hey man, I'm going to go from like the whole pack a day to cold turkey tomorrow. I promise I'm not going to have a single smoke. But it's like, you know what? How about tomorrow you have half a pack?
Exactly, yeah.
And then the next day, have 5 cigarettes. Have 5.
I just in that moment, I just pictured Kenny as a therapist. I was like, I just see him in an office. I just see him in an office with the guy sitting across from him. He's like,
try drinking. Not like it.
Bro, you have no idea. I actually did this shit at work. It was jokes. Not to a steering wave, because I want to bring us back to that. But real quick, Buddy and I are talking, right? It was New Year's resolution. We're right around the topic. And I was like, listen, bro. We'll call him Timothy. It's not his name, but for...
Timothy? That's the name he came up with?
Obvious confidential purposes. That's not his real name. He's a beauty. So I'm like, Timothy, brother, tell me, like, how much do you drink in a week?
Come on, Timothy.
He's like, man, I'm telling you, probably drink like two bottles worth in a week. I'm like, do you want to be drinking that much? No, man, New Year's, I'm trying to quit. And I'm like, all right. How about next week? You have 1 bottle. He's like, 1 bottle? Like, yeah, just have 1 bottle. Like, it's better than 2, right? He's like, yeah. Like, yeah, I'll have 1 bottle. He's like, all excited. So, like, followed up with it the next week, and he's like, yeah, man, I had 1.5. And I'm like, hey, 1.5 is better than 2. We'll work with that, right?
One step at a time.
But think about it. It kind of works in reverse, and to your point.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to the gym, I love that. I love that you said that.
Shout out to Timothy.
Just
get him in the gym.
Timothy,
Get Timothy in the gym.
That's the next step.
Timothy's watching this. You got to get in the gym.
Pre-workout bottles. But yeah, it has to be easy. Like, the first step I read this book, Paradox of Choice. It actually talks about that. Like, talks about how this day and age there's just overwhelming amount of decisions to make, and a lot of times the consumer feels this, this lack of expertise to be able to make the right decision, because there's an overwhelming amount of decisions. But not only that, but also in terms of referencing, right? Like, doing their own research and seeing, they see all this stuff, but then, like, is it for them? Is it not for them? So
that's my life in my career.
Tough. It's tough.
Too many decisions.
It's
to
tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many options.
Yeah. And it talks about this one thing in the book that like I completely relate to, and I'm just because I'm an indecisive person, but it talks about how like, you know, they're in vacation, him and his wife, the author, and you know, they want to try at a restaurant. They want to figure out a place to eat, and they go to this one restaurant. It looks okay, but they don't want to go in yet because what if there's another good one down the block, right? So then go into the next one, and then it's like, oh, this is good too, but what if there's a better option down the road?
It's the story of my life.
So it goes on, to the point where they just lose their appetite, right? Like it's just one of those things. Like,
Oh, that's a good one.
and it's just, you know, it's.
And that's that's what I mean about like being stubborn with your decisions.
Yeah.
Like choosing one thing and sticking with it.
Yeah.
Like going back to what I was saying,
Yeah.
right? Like you gotta sit. Like there's choices, but you gotta make a decision.
Yeah.
And be okay with it and be stubborn with it.
How like what do you because so you say that now, but like what happens now? Like people want to experiment, right? And obviously you have to give a certain amount of effort to see if it's even worth it. You got to see some result, if any. What do you think that fine line is? Like if you're trying something new, obviously the first little bit is rough, right? You're trying to get it all figured out and stuff. So you have to commit to it for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
At what point do you go, all right, I've committed enough time and I'm not seeing results, I move on to the next thing? Or because that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing too, right? Especially if you have like multiple passions, then what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. If you're trying to make it a career, then if you have to see that staircase, right?
Yeah.
If you can't see the staircase and you're trying it because you don't know, I feel like when you find that passion or passions, you will know whether it sparks your interest in making it a long-term thing. Like if it clicks in your head, like, you know what, I could see myself doing this 5 years or 10 years from now. That's the thing, or at least that's one of the things.
Do you think you have to like drown yourself in it? Like, do you have to just make it all about that? Like in terms of being,
I think so.
I think that's how
You have to.
Yeah.
You will not. You can't. You won't see the actual fruits of it if
it's for a career. I find if it's as a hobby, you can press on the brakes all you want with that.
Yeah, but again, like, what's the idea of people trying to follow their passion isn't to find a hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not looking for something that you're trying to find a hobby. Like, if you're floating around and doing whatever, if you're happy with your life and you find a hobby, then of course.
Great, yeah,
go ahead.
If it keeps
experiment all you want and
do
it for 3 months and 6 months and then go on to the next thing. Yeah. But if you're looking, there's a lot of people that are always looking for what's the next step? What's the next thing that I'm going to immerse myself into, or find that thing and find that staircase? Well, when you find that thing that you're intrigued in and you spend a couple months in it and you can see it in your head, like you have to sit and visualize, like, can I see myself doing it?
Yeah. In 2 years, in 4 years, in 6 years.
Like you will know, like in your heart, you know. Yeah. And then it's a matter of saying, okay, this is it. Hell or high water. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, I made that decision a long time ago with videos. It's like, I'm going to be in some sort of marketing or in this space for a long time. Because I knew I wanted to be in here. Now, whether I could make it a career or not, that was a different story. Whether I could make it successful, that's a different story, right?
Yeah, but it becomes the backbone of every decision.
And that's the tough part. But if you're floating and you're testing and you're trying too many things, it's like with anything. It's just like it will never fizzle into that thing. It'll never become anything. It just fizzles out.
All those things need to be married to one another. Essentially, they need to coexist. If you're doing too many things, you have to be able to be like, okay, well, are all these things, can I do all of them at the same time? If you can, you nailed it. You hit it right on the button. So many times I find we're getting absorbed with information of, oh, you need to have more than one stream of income. Yeah, that's great. So as long as those streams of income you're building all associate with one another in one way, shape, or form.
Well, I think the whole, like, if you're bringing the streams of income in this, I was doing a lot of research on this, but the people that have streams of income usually have built one really, really good stream. Yeah. Right? And then they moved on to the next. Yeah. And then they moved on to the next and moved on to the next. Right? So a lot of these guys are super successful, right? And you're asking them, what do you believe in streams of income? Of course they do. Because they built that over their years of living.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't start off with 7 streams of income. They didn't start doing 7 things at once. They became what they were in that one field for 10x years. And then they now have the equity and the capital to diversify into doing all those different things.
The names.
Right? So if you ask, it depends when you ask them.
Yeah.
If you ask them when they start their career, they're probably going to be like, nah, like, I'm focusing on this and this is all I'm focusing on. But if you ask them when they're 30 or 40 or 50, they're going to have a different answer. Yeah, of course I believe in, you should diversify. You should have multiple streams of income. So I feel like it's depending on, I always say specialize, don't generalize, right? Don't generalize your career. Don't generalize your income, like what you're trying to build. Specialize, and then you can...
Dude, you should be a fucking life coach. I mean, like, wow, I love that one. I need to pay Omen right now for his time, bro. And this is, you accept Pap? Hope you accept Pap. Like, oh, I love that. I'm going to take these nuggets and run with them, man. Take some barbecue sauce with that specialization.
Shout out to Timothy.
You got to put him in front of Timothy. That's what I'm saying.
Timothy right now is on his 3rd bottle. He's like, shit, man.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He's healthy. He's healthy. Yeah. No, man, real talk. I love that. I want everyone to really think that way. Because there's too much, we're overwhelmed, right? We're overwhelmed with seeing people our own age, people younger than us, people who feel like we figured it out while we haven't. I mean, at the end of the day, that's so much toxicity going into our brain when we're constantly comparing. And I find that's what really... That's our demon. That's our worst enemy.
Yeah.
We always think that, oh, but what if I could do it better on my own? Okay, sure. Yeah, you probably can, but first, reap the benefits of learning from someone who's already doing a damn good job of it. Yeah. Right? Like, that's mentorship right there.
Yeah.
If you have access to that in any way, shape, or form, and I find, like, oh, you're a great example of that, where, like, you needed to go to someone or some entity who's already doing what you hope to eventually do.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's the whole thing of drowning in opportunity. Yeah. Right now we're drowning in opportunity. You see something and you hop on you see a better ship than yours, so you hop on that ship.
It's shiny.
It's shinier, it's bigger, versus having a small little boat of yours and actually building that. That actually might be better to do.
But I argue that it's fair to jump if you feel like the boat you're on right now is making you miserable.
Well, yeah,
that's where it's fair. Who cares how long you've been on that boat or not? Like, one thing, bro, honestly, Gary Vee said that I really appreciated was when he's like, why would you bother staying somewhere in a position just because you're just trying to stay at the least amount of time to put on your resume if it's just making you absolutely miserable?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I eat it up. Because at the end of the day, that's how we're hardwired now.
Yeah.
Right? We're hardwired like that in relationships, in our career, in certain decisions we make. At a party we're staying at. Oh no, this party sucks. I've only been here for 10 minutes, but I'd look like a loser if I leave this early. Like, we look at that in everything. It's like, no, you leave when you want to leave. Yeah. Who cares how long you've been there? It's your decision. It's your life.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, yeah, sure, some people are like, oh yeah, he's only here for this long. Well, you know what? You didn't like it. So be it. What the actual job description looked like compared to what I was actually done was far different from one another, right? So that's where I want to bleed that in a society and into the world and let them know that, like, hey, don't be afraid. Take the chance. You took it. It's not right. Plenty of other opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm not, for me too, I'm not even saying, like, don't try things. That's not, I hope people don't take that out of context. No. You should try things until you find the spark and the right thing.
Yeah.
And I guess however long it takes, but again, eventually you have to land on something and you have to stick to it. Right? At the end of the day, I feel like you can, but you just won't see what I see. Like, you won't see the fulfillment of the growth.
Yeah, you'll never go deep in any one thing.
You want to go in. You don't see the fruits of that going in that depth. So, so don't feel like definitely try stuff out, but find that thing and find it as soon as you can. Right.
I love that, man. You look at a man like Arnold behind you, and he's a perfect example of that.
Prime example, man.
Perfect example. He, Mr. Olympia, Mr. Most jacked human in the world, and then look at what that man did after that. Just look at it.
I mean, he did it all. Like, if he
Terminator, you have to get down, and then being from that to wanting to be the mayor. to, you know, being able to be the actor, all of it, you
Governor,
name it,
not
man.
mayor.
Governor, not even mayor, bro. Excuse me, governor.
Governor, dude.
I know I'm gonna get shit for that. Governor,
I hope Arnold's
even
not
bigger.
Yeah.
And now he's out coming back to Edmonton to do a speaking series that he's doing around the world. Like, perfect example.
Yeah.
Fitness is what you love. Getting jack's what you love, and there's a lot of other stuff too. You stick to that first thing.
Yeah, he dominated in that one field first, right? And then he was like, "Oh,
That opened up doors for him.
That opened up doors, and then he dominated the next, and then he dominated the next." It's proven concept in all industries.
Yeah.
Proven concept in all industries, but you have to stick long enough to see that, and being able, obviously, those other factors of luck and working hard and getting that extra workout in. You just have to.
Wow.
Work hard.
And stay humble. Revival Apparel.
Shout out Steve.
Oh! Stevie's gonna love that.
He watches this. I know the guy's busy, so.
No word, man. He's hustling, right? Any last words, Cheyenne?
Thanks for coming on, Shayan.
Thanks for having me, man. This is fun. It's nice to be able to talk to like-minded people.
100%, man.
That's what it is at the end of the day. You have to surround yourself with the right people if you want to go far. No matter what you're doing, I think you have to. You just absolutely have to. You have to be around the positive mentality. You have to be around people who are also hustling. You have to be around people who are chasing something, right?
Yeah.
So otherwise, you just need. There's just so many challenges in terms of whatever you do, and so many obstacles. You have to have that little support, right?
I agree.
I agree, man. I mean, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but in here in the jungle, what happens in the jungle, hey, it's for the whole world to see, baby.
Wow.
That's a wrap.
It's like, yeah. Yeah, but
Is that the slogan now?
I'm playing with it. I'll throw different things out there to see what catches. With that reaction, it just might stick.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, gentlemen. That was awesome.
It was
You guys
fun.
rock.